The demand for photographs is as intense as ever, with the press corps still desperate for that special picture to record the moment of history, and the captain's more than happy to oblige. With the tour now into its 4th month, it was important for England's cricketers to be able to unwind at every opportunity. There were just 2 days off between the 4th and 5th Test matches as the local tourist industry cashed in on England's travelling supporters.
Feels like day 90 at the moment. You know, these Test matches when they're back-to-back are very hard work, particularly for the fast bowlers, and for the batsmen, kind of more the mental drain. But, you know, we knew the itinerary before we came out here. It was just a matter of trying to be strong and get through it.
Andrew, look to Mummy.
Another welcome distraction was the arrival of many of the players' young families. The demands on a top international cricketer's time are so great that they're seldom at home. Opportunities such as this mean a great deal.
I think it gives most people a bit of a lift. It's nice to see them. I think most of them have come out to Barbados and Antigua, so it's at the end of the trip, so they've been away from them for quite a while. It's nice to see them here, and they bring a kind of fresh atmosphere to things.
Just for a change, it was the West Indies who had the problems before the final test. Richie Richardson had pulled a hamstring, and the experienced Desmond Haynes was also ruled out. The second-string openers were dismissed quickly, giving Brian Lara the chance of more time at the crease. But even he wasn't fully fit. He needs an eye operation.
You know, a lot of guys who play whatever sport in the sun do suffer from it, and it's not a major problem. So it does not affect me all the time. If the sun is very bright, it feels like if I got a stone in my eyes or something like that.
All the more incredible, then, that Brian Lara should score 375 and break the world record. However, not even he could steal the show entirely. Antigua is gravy territory. Century number 1, and the feeling all around the ground that there was more to come.
I wasn't as frustrated as I had been in, say, Guyana, where we bowled poorly, because I thought we bowled well in Antigua generally. But the wicket was very flat. He'd set his sights on a big 100, and it's the biggest compliment to him to say it looked also inevitable at the time. People might find that a strange thing to say from a captain of the fielding side. But we did our best. We tried to get him out, and there's times when you have to realise you're in the hands of a greater force, and it was his 2 days.
Sir Garfield Sobers watched on from the pavilion. His record, surely the most demanding in the game, had stood virtually unchallenged for 36 years. Lara had 320 to his name. He needed another 46 at the start of play on the 3rd day.
I was really anxious. I was very nervous. I played a few terrible shots before that, but I wanted to get there. That was the main thing. And when I leveled it, I know, well, if I ever shared a record with Sir Gary Sobers, that was great enough for me. And when I passed it, well, it was unbelievable.
He's gone for the call, and there it is. Brian Lara has done it. The new world record holder is Brian Charles Lara of Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, I've never seen Sir Gary play cricket, but what everyone has told me, he's the greatest all-rounder ever, and some have even said he's the greatest batsman that ever played cricket. And to pass his milestone of 365 is the greatest feeling I've ever had. It's the happiest moment of my life.
Well, I just said to him, well done, and hugged him, because he's a very nice boy. I have watched him from the time he started, when he first came to Barbados, playing in the Sir Gary Sobers International Schoolboys competition. And from that day that I saw him, I was shouting his praise, and I was saying to people that he's going to be the best player the West Indies and the world has ever seen. And people laughed at me.
Well, I think it's probably about the best innings I've ever seen. All told, in 2.5 days, he made about 6 false shots.
And this was one of them off the ball, which eventually caused his downfall. For the record, Lara had batted for 6 minutes short of 13 hours for his 375, facing 536 balls and stroking 45 fours.
Take into account conditions, and it wasn't the most testing conditions to play a test match innings. The wicket was flat, having said that, to bat for 2.5 days and make a handful of poor shots, which he did, maybe 5 or 6 shots that he'd regret, was a phenomenal effort in terms of concentration and technique. And yeah, I'd stand by the comment that I made at the time.
Your point of view, he's a perfect man to break your record.
Well, he's a left-hander too. I don't think many right-handers could play that way.
Oh, really? Well, Lara played several holes of right-handed golf every morning before continuing with his left-handed marathon, bar the last because by then he was too tired. England now had a match to save, as much as anything to prove that their recovery in Barbados hadn't been just a flash in the pan. The West Indies declared on 595 for 5. Another ray of hope for the future in that England fought back under extreme pressure. Atherton featured in a record stand of 303 with Robin Smith, who finally released all his pent-up frustration.
It was nice to see Robin play so well. He's back to his best. I thought it was a super innings, 175. He had some criticism on the rest day from the team manager, and that criticism, as ever, is a constructive criticism. There's no bigger fans of Robin than myself and Fletch. But there's times when you have to refocus on what's necessary and what you have to do when you're playing for England. After all the hard work in Barbados and getting the win there, it would have been a disappointment to lose in Antigua and go home 4-1. We felt 3-1 would have been a much fairer reflection of the series as a whole. So we emphasised the need to fight for a draw there, and that's something England hadn't been doing in the last 12, 18 months. And I thought, despite the fact people will say it was a breeze and that it was a flat wicket, I thought it was a hell of a good effort to get a draw there.
Both teams made exactly the same score. Another unusual statistic to bring a record-breaking tour to a close. Brian Lara's homecoming in Trinidad was spectacular. A new cricketing world champion had been born.
I'm going to be the same player. I'm going to start from zero in all my innings. I don't want anyone to compare me with any great player. These are just figures to me. You know, you have a good day, you have a good couple of days, and you break a record. But I'm going to start all over again, and you know, a lot of pressure is going to be on me from the public worldwide. But as I said, I got to take it in stride and hope that everything works out for me.
The way his season has already started with Warwickshire suggests that Lara might just be able to handle county cricket. A year ago, Mike Atherton returned from Sri Lanka deeply concerned about his England future. Now his whole world has been transformed. The West Indies fast bowlers tried to break his spirit and resolve in Jamaica, but he passed the test and emerged all the stronger for it. Many teams fold completely when morale hits rock bottom, but Atherton's fought back.
I think he's done very well. I mean, there have been no public dramas, but I think there've been the minor ones, the dressing room dramas, which always occur on a tour. And I think Michael's handled them quietly and positively in his own way, and he's shown to me that he can be a very good leader of men. He was always likely to be, because he's been a leader all his life. But people thought that maybe he wasn't quite hard enough. He's a very tough man indeed, and I think he'll captain England for many years to come.
Yeah, I thought he handled the team very, very well, and he was able to command respect from the guys, I think, and I think that is very, very important. And well, I just like to wish him all the best, because you know, he's a person that I like, and I think that he can do a very good job playing there.
I would say that I was pleased with the response I got from my players. I felt particularly as the tour went on, as I got to know them better and they got to know me better, I felt there was a good spirit coming through within the team, and I felt that at the end, even at the end of a long and arduous tour, you know, there was a hell of a lot of character shown. I'd like to think we can take that through to this summer, and I was pleased with the response that I got, yeah.